Welcome to Esoterisphere. Today we're diving headfirst into a strange and powerful undercurrent of religious history. Gnosticism. It's a worldview that flips the script on everything you thought you knew. In Gnosticism, the creator of the physical universe isn't a loving God, but a false one. The serpent in Eden? Not a villain, but a liberator. And you're not just a human being. You're a spark of the divine, trapped in a world built on illusion. Let's unpack all of that. What exactly is Gnosticism? Where did it come from? And why is it still capturing imaginations 2,000 years later? What is Gnosticism? The word Gnosticism comes from the Greek gnosis, meaning knowledge. But this isn't about book smarts. Gnosis refers to experiential inner knowledge. A sudden flash of realization. A mystical remembering of a truth you already carry within you. Gnosticism wasn't a single religion or creed. It was more like a loose network of mystery traditions, spiritual systems that circulated in the Greco-Roman world during the first few centuries of the Common Era. These groups shared certain core ideas, but each expressed them with its own myths, rituals, and cosmologies. What unified them was the belief that the material world is not the ultimate reality, and that salvation comes from awakening to this truth. At the heart of most Gnostic systems is a dualistic view of existence. Spirit is good, pure, eternal. Matter. This world. Our bodies, time, and decay is flawed, or even evil. Gnostics believed in a hidden, transcendent source, sometimes called the monad, or simply the true God. This being is beyond comprehension, beyond gender, beyond form. From this divine fullness, or Pleroma, emanated various beings called eons. Spiritual principles or aspects of the divine mind. But something went wrong. In many myths, one aeon, usually Sophia, meaning wisdom, tries to understand or create apart from the source. In her fall, she gives birth to a being outside the divine order, the Demiurge. The Demiurge is ignorant of the higher realms. He believes himself to be the only God. And in that ignorance, he creates the material universe. A pale, broken copy of the Pleroma. Some texts call him Yaldabaoth. Others associate him with the jealous God of the Old Testament. He's a blind architect, not out of malice necessarily, but out of error. And that's where we find ourselves. Trapped in a world designed by a being who doesn't know what he's doing. But not all is lost. According to Gnostic thought, when Sophia fell, sparks of the divine became embedded in human beings. Each of us carries a fragment of the original light, a piece of the divine realm, forgotten and sleeping within us. This is where Gnosis comes in. Salvation isn't about obeying rules or believing the right dogmas. It is about remembering, realizing who we truly are, and where we truly come from. The world around us is a veil, a dream, maybe even a lie. And through Gnosis, we begin to wake up. Many Gnostic texts describe this process poetically. The soul is a stranger in a foreign land, a lost traveler, a spark surrounded by darkness. Some texts compare it to being drunk or asleep. Gnosis is the sobering moment when you realize, wait, this isn't my home. To get this message across, Gnostic writers often reinterpreted familiar biblical stories, but with a twist. Take the Garden of Eden. In Genesis, the serpent tempts Adam and Eve to eat from the tree of knowledge, and for that, they are cast out. But in some Gnostic texts, the serpent is the hero. He offers knowledge, or gnosis, to free humanity from the ignorance imposed by the Demiurge. Eve becomes the first to awaken. Not the first to sin, but the first to see. Even Christ is reimagined. In Gnostic Christianity, Jesus isn't merely a man sent to die for our sins. He's a revealer of hidden truths, a messenger from the higher realms. In some systems, the divine Christ and the human Jesus are separate beings. Christ enters Jesus temporarily to deliver knowledge, then departs before the crucifixion, leaving only the earthly shell behind. It's a theology that emphasizes insight over suffering, revelation over sacrifice. Certain figures appear, again and again, in Gnostic literature. Sophia, the fallen wisdom, often portrayed as a tragic, exiled mother longing to return to the source. The Demiurge, usually depicted as arrogant, lion-headed, or serpentine, believing himself to be the only god. Mary Magdalene. In texts like the Gospel of Mary, she's shown as Jesus' closest disciple, understanding his teachings more deeply than Peter or the other apostles. Eons. Not angels exactly, but emanations of the divine. Abstract spiritual realities like thought, truth, grace, and silence. The Archons. Rulers of the material world, often seen as cosmic jailers or spiritual parasites enforcing the Demiurge's false reality. These aren't just mythological figures. They're symbolic of inner states, cosmic processes, and archetypes of awakening. During the first few centuries of the Common Era, Gnostic Christianity coexisted with many other forms of the faith. There was no single Christianity yet, just a wide range of communities interpreting Jesus in radically different ways. But as the early church began consolidating its power, it moved to establish orthodoxy. That meant defining the correct beliefs and condemning everything else as heresy. Church fathers like Irenaeus and Tertullian wrote entire books attacking the Gnostics, accusing them of elitism, distortion, and blasphemy. By the 4th century, with the backing of the Roman Empire, Orthodox Christianity became dominant. Gnostic texts were banned, burned, and buried, literally. For centuries, nearly everything we knew about Gnosticism came from the writings of its opponents. We were seeing it through a hostile lens. That changed in 1945 when a collection of Gnostic texts, now known as the Nag Hammadi Library, was discovered in Egypt. Hidden in a clay jar were over 50 ancient works, including the Gospel of Thomas, the Apocryphon of John, and the Thunder Perfect Mind. Suddenly, scholars had access to first-hand voices. Mystical, poetic, often startlingly modern in tone. It was like discovering a missing gospel, one where the divine speaks in riddles and paradoxes, and salvation comes through inner illumination, not external obedience. Today, Gnosticism has made a quiet comeback. It shows up in New Age spirituality, psychology, and pop culture. You can see traces of it in the Matrix, in Jungian archetypes, in conspiracy theories, even in some psychedelic philosophies. Its core message still resonates, that the world is not what it seems. That awakening is possible. That the divine lives within you, and it's waiting to be remembered. So, what if the world really is a kind of illusion? What if knowledge, not belief, is the key to salvation? And what if everything you've been taught to fear was actually pointing you toward freedom? That's the heart of Gnosticism. Not just a heresy, but a radical invitation to wake up. Have you encountered Gnostic ideas before? Did they resonate? I'd love to hear about it. Drop a comment and let me know what your experience has been. Until next time, keep seeking. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider clicking the like button and subscribing to the channel. It really helps us out. Don't forget to tap that notification bell to be notified whenever a new video drops. And if you have any suggestions for future videos, let us know in the comments. Brightest of blessings to you all.